Tom, so great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's a real pleasure and honor to get to speak with you. Hi.
Yeah, hello. It is. It's great to see all the stuff you're doing in the NFT space, man. I got to tell you, I'm a fan. I've been collecting since you first started dropping stuff, and it's been fun to watch this all unfold. But I'd love to start at the beginning, wherever you want to start. Ever far back in your career you want to go, or what got you excited about NFTs?
Oh,
It'd be fun to chat about it all.
Okay, so I've been looking at this space probably for about a year and a half before I sort of figured out what I wanted to do. I was annoyed by all my friends nagging at me about this is the future, and I just didn't understand it until a friend showed me physically made me browse the attributes of CryptoPunks. And when I saw how the computer helped me to discern between 10,000 similar but uniquely different objects using attributes, I thought, wow, this is exactly like Solowit's incomplete open cubes or any of his permutation or any of his generative art. And it was very clear to me that this is something I needed to engage with. I've been making conceptual art for years. It's kind of like a hobby. My main job is sculpture. I'm a world famous artist in making sculpture exhibitions, but conceptual art is something that's always informed what I've done. And it's always been something that I've sort of aspired to, but I didn't really ever figure out a way to make it. The one thing is about conceptual arts, it's very hard to make it physical. That's why at first it wasn't even called conceptual art. It was called dematerialized art, like art without material. It's just a set of rules, instructions, and maybe Yoko Ono is the most important artist in the space because she never really made any physical things, just instructions for people to perform. Performance art, I guess is another word for it. But then when I saw CryptoPunks, I thought, okay, I got it. And I see how computers can help you look at 10,000 images at once, as long as you're willing to sort them by red mohawk and cigarettes or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah. I've sorted many a CryptoPunks in my days.
Yeah, totally. So, and then it took a few months to figure out a way to make something that was authentically mine. I mean, at first I was thinking about just doing an iPad drawing, but then I thought that's not really leveraging the power of the computer enough. And the project kind of came together slowly as an authentic expression of things that I'd already been doing. I've been launching rockets my whole life. And I've even been launching them. I mean, even just 3 years ago, I did this piece called 5 Rockets for Lower Manhattan, where I shot 5 rockets in the air and then recovered them to try and make a pentagram on the corner of Grand and Center Street. I did a map. It's like a shitty pentagram, but it is 5 points. So I guess that's some kind of 5-sided shape. And that's really conceptually different than from Solowit doing connecting all the dots of all the apartments that he lived in Manhattan and that overlay of the map of New York City and the shape that they filled out. John Baldessari, of course, another big influence. But I think probably the big breakthrough was around the same time I started doing some deep dives with ketamine and LSD exploration. And I started to really understand, I guess I've kind of known about it my whole life, but putting it together with my art was a big breakthrough about how there are other dimensions that we can't see right now. And you access them, you can cheat them. You can, drugs are but a window to what we can achieve through work. But I saw a window into other dimensions, and I realized that the multiverse or metaverses are real. They're populated by people who live in concrete bunkers and stare at screens all day, but those are real worlds. And, and I've become one of those people now. And really, it's just, we make the world not the way it is, but the way we want it to be. And if you put enough blood and sweat into it, it becomes authentic. And I think that idea that I've been doing that in my sculpture for 35 years in this same room that we're sitting in now, But finding a way to use the computer for the very first time, I'm sure I use it for shopping and pornography like everybody else, but like at photography or whatever, but like to really use the computing power to generate art was kind of a big breakthrough. It's the first time I've done it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that is the easy thing to do would just be to fire up an iPad and do a sketch or something and, you know, put your name on it. The harder thing is to jump in and say, I'm going to work with smart contracts. I'm going to work on the assembly and construction of things coming together. Like, that seems like a very ambitious thing to tackle for your first go. Was this your very first, was the Rocket Factory the very first thing you put out, or am I missing something that you put out prior to that on the NFT front?
Well, it's interesting. Yes, actually it is my Genesis project, the Rocket Factory. But the night, how do I say this? I was about to launch like 5 iPad drawings with Foundation. And the night before, a friend of mine showed me, that was the moment when he showed me the CryptoPunks attributes. And he's like, yeah, you could do that. You'll probably make 8 or 20 ETH or something because you're a high profile artist or whatever, but you could build a whole world. And isn't that more interesting? And so from that moment, it took 4 months, which is fast. I have like the best team in the world, Aram and Charlie and NFT Studios, like working their ass off day and night to like make it happen. 4 months is really quick considering how
really
robust.
Fast.
Yeah. But we also work hard on our sculptures. It's the same values that we're incredibly fast, but we also just don't sleep and we work around the clock. And that's part of it. The mania is like the adrenaline. It's sports. It's endurance art. It's like running a marathon or something. So, yeah, I really wanted to do a David Hockney drawing. You know, I think he's the best iPad artist out there, and I have my like less good versions of it, and I wanted to, but I may still. I love Procreate. I'm obsessed with it. I draw every day on it, and I've got tons of cool drawings. I don't know. And I do think that, by the way, that Procreate drawings or iPad drawings are authentic to computers. And I think that doing an NFT and creating like an ownership structure around one of them is really viable, because anything else is just there's a loss in generation in the output. Like, yeah, you can make a digital print, but no, it's better on the screen. We all know it's better on the screen. So the NFT structure is a way to make it concrete, like very concrete and native. So I will do that. I don't know exactly how and when, because I'm so like drowning in the utility and mania of being my God state of creating worlds. I mean, we haven't talked about what the Rocket Factory is becoming, but it keeps growing.
I'm really excited to get into this, because this is when I first I had heard of you prior to this, obviously as a well-known artist, but then when I saw you were doing something in NFTs, I was like, okay, I got to get in on this right away. I'm also a member of Flamingo DAO, and we went pretty hard and purchased some of your rockets as well. I know you know a few folks over there as well.
Oh yeah. We lost one of your rockets in the Seine, but we recovered all but the nose cone. Yeah, and it was donated to the museum. It's the only rocket in the museum that it's missing a part.
Are you still launching rockets? Because I have 2 fully assembled ones. I have an Atari, and I also have a Hello Kitty. Fully assembled.
You have an Atari Perfect and a Hello Kitty Perfect?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, well, you should sign up. We've got actually, I would recommend that you sign up for the West Coast launch, which is it's the next launch coming up, which is May 7th, and we're going to do that in Lake Lucerne, which is 2.5 hours east of LA, which is a dry lake where you can drive your truck onto the dry lake, and it's just flat as far as the eye can see. We're going to launch rockets. Oh, and I think there are 2 other launches after that, but anyway, that's the one closest to where you are.
Yeah. So just to bring people up to speed that are listening, when you first did the launch, and you did individual components. So there was, if people can't visualize this right now, there is a a cone, a body, and a tail piece. I went in pretty hard. I actually got 2 of the Apple components, which were really rare ones, but I ended up selling them because I couldn't get the middle piece. And so I was really pissed that I couldn't get the middle. I didn't want a Franken rocket. I wanted like the real, like full rocket.
Perfect.
So yeah, I wanted the perfect rocket. So you launches as NFTs or individual components, and then you do this really fun mechanic, which was you could actually assemble them and create either Franken rockets, which were like a combination of different attributes, or perfect ones, which like in the example of mine has an Atari nose, Atari body, and Atari tail section. Do I have that right so far?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, we call that burning, where you take 3 NFTs and you burn them into one.
And then when that happens, now that you have this option of signing up and saying, I want this to be physically created and launched. Now, does the actual rocket itself, then the NFT get burned if I launch a physical, or how does that work?
No, so you after you assemble the rocket, you have an option to launch it, and when you launch it, you pick a date on the calendar, and then I physically build that rocket, the Atari Perfect rocket, and launch it, and then you have to choose: do I ship it to you? Do you donate it to the museum, or do you elect to have it shredded? And you have to make that choice. And so only 100 people will be allowed to donate, because we're doing a big cabinet. It's like 10 feet square, and that in turn is being donated to a major international art museum. And or people, you can have the rocket sent to you in a little plexiglass vitrine with a wooden base. It's really nice, like a sculpture. But the NFT, the video of it launching, and the physical rocket all exist together. These are not 3 things. This is kind of one thing together.
Mm-hmm.
However, but it is worth mentioning, if you decide to sell your NFT, you still keep the physical rocket. Or if you do the right thing, you give it to the next person, but I can't enforce that. So I can let that be a little anarchistic, how that shakes out. It's really just for the assembler.
Yeah. Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
The thing I was worried about when you first came out with this is like, oh man, Budweiser's going to sue them. Or I thought when you did the Tiffany one, I was like, there's no way Tiffany is going to be cool with you putting Tiffany on the side. But I guess you fall under that. Like, this is a parody type rule. Like, how did you navigate that? Did you actually work with the brands? I can't imagine you worked with all those brands. Did you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, so people ask, where did these brands come? These are the brands of my life. So parody is actually the right word, but it's not parody like where you're making a joke or something. Parody is also weird. The word, I think it's spelled a little differently, but the word legally means I've been working with Tiffany's and McDonald's and Budweiser brands for decades. So they've had plenty of opportunity to sue me or stop me before. So if it goes to court, there's this thing called parody, meaning like you had your chance to sue me, many chances, and you didn't take it. So, go fuck yourself. Or something like that.
That's amazing.
But I guess, but the point is that a lot of these brands I have relationships with. So, LVMH, who owns Tiffany, bought the Tiffany rocket. Budweiser bought a Budweiser rocket. We went to St. Louis. We launched there, and they made their avatar. We have a relationship with Nike, Hello Kitty. We've been making Hello Kitty sculptures for decades. So these aren't random brands, but these brands are important to me, and they define who I am.
I love it. I love that. That it's funny to see how, in some sense, like as a brand, you're not going to go out and sue an amazing artist. Like, that's the worst possible PR move you could ever pull off in your life. Like, that's horrible. Yeah. It's very cool that they actually said, hey, we're going to collect these and make these our Twitter profiles. I think Budweiser made one of your rockets the actual Twitter profile. Is that right? Like that actually happened, which is great. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
There was a really fun...
Right now, Tiffany's Twitter and Instagram profile is the rocket right now.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things that I thought was just hilarious, it's a fun little aside, is that I had Beeple on the show, and he had this really massive penis that was being milked in one of his pieces of art. And in the background, the storage of all the milk was going into a Hot Pockets factory. And so people said that he wanted them to actually pay them to stop using the brand. Like, say it's like anti-advertising, where Hot Pockets would come and say, please don't put us into your art anymore. It's so horrific. We don't want to see our brand. So he keeps using Hot Pockets in all of his like super grotesque pieces, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's an interesting approach. For me, I have a love-hate relationship with status and money. It's long-lasting. You can't really be a fair critic of consumer culture unless you're an active participant. And otherwise, it's kind of like propaganda. And I see like both sides of it. I think it's important. And that's what makes it art. If it's just one perspective, it's like propaganda, or it's got a given politic. And I think it's important that the user or the viewer or the completes the picture. Louis Armstrong famously left out notes when he was playing so the mind of the listener could complete the song and therefore build a greater connection to what was being heard.
Wow, that's beautiful. I had no idea that was the case. That's amazing.
Listen, you'll hear it on your first try. Pick a simple song that you know.
That's awesome. So we got the assembly, we got the launch of the rockets. That's and one thing we didn't cover is that if you do launch it and you are able to recover it, you will still ship them the rocket, right? They can have the used rocket.
Yeah, we strive for and have achieved 100% recovery rate, and
except for the nose cone of the flamingo rocket, 99.99% recovery rate.
And of course, it's like the flamingo rocket too.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's in the Seine in Paris, so there's like a story behind it. There's something to that.
So what goes after that? What's the next chapter of this?
So once you launch a rocket and we send it to you, or you like to have it shredded, or you donate it, you can then claim a first class ticket to the mothership. And also, by the way, if you're a patch holder, you can get a coach class ticket. Or if you're a rocket holder, and you elect not to launch for whatever reason, you get a business class ticket.
Oh, so interesting.
And those tickets get you different treatment on the mothership. So the mothership is now in Earth orbit. All the rockets are getting ready to join, and the mothership, once it's all loaded up with whoever is going to go, and that's going to end on May 6th is the last day. So please, Kevin, even if you elect not to launch for whatever reason, claim your ticket. It's just claim it.
Yeah, I will elect to launch, and I'll have the other rocket join the mothership in its virgin status, and then I have 2 patches as well. So
take advantage of all of those things. Get
awesome,
because what you're going to get when we go to Mars is we're doing a Mars mining mission, and you're going to be able to bring back Mars rocks, and coach class tickets bring back a quantity, and unlaunched rockets bring back more, and launch rockets bring back the most. Actually, stickered launch rockets bring back the most.
Oh, interesting.
But so they're different. They can bring back a steamer trunk. Actually, you don't even have to. If you're stickered, you don't even have to launch. It's this endless gamification. I could barely keep up with it all myself. But you bring back Mars rocks. Why? Well, those Mars rocks get refined, and the rockets get recharged, and we go to other worlds.
I love this. I love how much fun you're having with this. It's awesome.
It's really fun. And the other worlds, I can't say yet because we're going to, how do I say this? We're exploring the cosmos and other dimensions. So you'll have to wait and see. But it's just kind of getting started, feels like. And the importance is that we are rewarding our rocket holders. It's always like if you have a rocket or a patch, it's all about you.
Will there be multiple shuttles leaving, or is it just like this is your one chance to get out into the universe?
You've got one chance. In fact, today was the deadline, 420 or yesterday was the deadline, but we extended it to May 6th because we didn't have it. Like no one was ready. It's everything takes a long time. I mean, the mechanics of this is slow, and we're like understanding, and we're not going to be hard asses, and we'll just move the date so that everyone can participate. I mean, like if we hadn't spoken, you might have missed it, right?
I would have totally have missed it. There's so much going on right now. It's hard.
I know, and you're not alone. So we're really trying to, our Discord channel talks about it, but it's a Twitter space. Like no one is getting everything, and we're really trying to get people involved. I mean, people ask me, Tom, are you crazy? You're going to make 1,000 physical rockets, launch 1,000 rockets, and mail them to 1,000 people. It's like a nightmare project, and I say, yeah, it is, but it's not that we have to; it's that we get to. I mean, my work is my pleasure, and I'm so pumped when someone sends me a picture of this rocket in their living room. I mean, that's the work getting out there. And I think it's an honor and a privilege. So
I love it. It's what a fun way. This is part of the reason why I also like building this space, is because it's such blue ocean. It's up to your own imagination of what you want to go out and create. And you're like on the pioneering front end of this thing saying, hey, this is the direction I'm going to take it. As crazy or wacky or awesome as it sounds, it's up to you. And then you just get on board or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's like, it's a new material. I discovered porcelain a decade ago, and I've been making ceramic tea bowls for a decade. And my wife says she hasn't seen me this excited since I picked up ceramics a decade ago. And, I mean, there's so many things. Like I'm forgetting, like, you can do this Mars mining in your sort of like Web3 portal, but you can also do it in Decentraland. Go to our Tom Sachs rocket factory in Decentraland. I think we have like the second largest structure in Decentraland, and there's a POAP there. Go claim that for free. That gives you some special utility in Decentraland. That's going to be really cool. And then there's a date coming up very soon after May 6th. The mining mission will open, and the Mars rocks that you get, we're going to open them up, and you're going to see, and that's all happening in Decentraland, so you can see it physically happening.
Will there ever be a time when I can refine enough ore from different planets that I could get a physical sculpture from you out of the refined ore?
I don't know the answer to that, but I will say this. Your rocket is a physical sculpture.
Right.
So there is one in the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. We're talking with a bunch of other museums about acquiring other physical rocks. So, but I mean, what you're asking really is about tokenizing Mars rocks to the point where it can get into other aspects of the sculpture. I would say I'm open to it. The issue really becomes about the complexities with tokenomics, and it's. I stay tuned. I couldn't really say. I love that idea. The complexity of making it right and fair and stable is something that we're always looking into, but it's hard. But Aram's saying, but the rocks are definitely going to open up other worlds for sure. And to mark my words, rocks will open up other worlds.
I love this.
That's the quote.
Do your peers in this space, when you think about the traditional art world, your collectors, people that you've interacted with over the last few decades in building your brand is in who you are as an artist, do people think you're crazy, or are they like, oh, I'm on it too, I'm on to NFTs? Or do you have some collectors that are like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, how are people embracing this new Web3 NFT world from the more traditional art side?
That's a great question. It's really mixed. So I thought that the art world would be more into it, because it's interesting. The NFT space is being led by art and artists, but yet it's not like the snobby art world that I'm in. And also, it's pretty clear that it's not always going to be about art. Like right now, it's about art, but in a couple of years, it's going to be about real estate or banking or like everything. We're all thinking. All of my friends who are like investment dudes who like own a lot of like Bitcoin because they believe in it, None of them have MetaMask wallets, or if they do, they don't really manage them. They're not really on it. It's too hard, and it is. I think it's prohibitively complex. There's, I think, a pretty small percentage of those people buying these rockets. I think it's more like a crypto community. I think there are people involved, but I'm kind of surprised at how I'm not surprised. I think that the structural bar of entry is a little high in terms of time commitment. So either you don't have enough money. This is one of the biggest problems. Is you don't have enough money, or you don't have enough time. It's hard. And I think the people that are in this project have enough money and enough time to figure it all out. It's complex, and I hope, my God, is Coinbase going to get their shit together to make it easier, or is Ethereum 2.0 going to come out so it's cheaper, the gas and stuff. I just think we're in like year one of this. I mean, I know it's been a couple of years, but it's year one where there are a lot of people involved. So.
Yeah, people forget that in the 90s, we were scared to put our credit cards into a computer to buy anything because it was like you were going to get hacked. And it wasn't until, a decade or so later that you were like, okay, Amazon can hold my credit card. It's okay, So it's like we've got some time until all these rough edges get sanded down,
But, I had dinner with a bunch of investment dudes last night, and they were all like, super shit talking NFTs, or most of it's garbage. I was like, yeah, fine, not mine. Mine's good. I'm sure everyone says that about theirs. But I say, even country music's got Patsy Cline and Hank Williams and Merle Haggard and Loretta Lynn. There's a lot of great artists in a genre that people generally across the board deride. They're endless. Dolly Parton, it goes on and on and on. But yeah, there's a lot of crap. But that's true of any genre. It's true of contemporary art. If you go into the best gallery in the world, best gallery, you name it, I won't, and you say what's in there is terrible, you're going to be right 85% of the time. It's only 15% of the time that it's really worth it. And at the best galleries. And at the shitty galleries, it's 99% of the time it's terrible.
Right.
So I don't know. I think we just have to always look at the be discerning, find the best stuff you can in any genre. I mean, that's what we do, and make sure that when you're working on it, or I would make sure when I'm working on it, that we make the best of it. We make sure that what we do is awesome in every way, and that the user experience is good, that when we launch rockets, that it's fun, and we say hi to people, and we meet and we talk about it. And every one of the rockets has a name that I've personally named, and there's a story behind every single one of those rockets, 1,000 rockets. I should also note that there are only 700 components left to be assembled, and August 1st is the end date. So no rockets will be launched after August 1st. We're kind of viewing that as the end of this phase of what we're doing, of the assembly and launch phase. We won't be launching rockets after that. Again, that's a year. We chose the Swiss National Day as our August 1st, which is also when we started. So I think a year is enough. The project will continue, and there'll be other utility, but in terms of the rocket assembly part.
Gotcha. Okay. So people should definitely go, if you're curious, to go assemble a rocket as soon as possible. My rockets are called the Necromancer and the Beowulf, are my two.
Nice. Necromancer and Beowulf. Amazing. Those are great names.
And then I also have the Test Flight Crew patch, and one that just says 8 of 8. I don't know what this one is for.
You assembled the rocket on the first opportunity. So you were and everyone on that day who assembled on that day, we sent a patch to. And we did a few, I don't know, half a dozen patches to commemorate milestones in the project. And I that's just I don't know. I love the patches. We have patches on. We got my 10 bullets patch right here. So that's a special patch. That's rare. That's meaningful. You earn that patch.
Is it too late to apply it to my rocket? Like, is that those days are done?
Too late to apply the patch to the rocket? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. You can't apply patches to rockets. That's more for your wallet and for your identity.
Okay.
But, and same with the test flight crew patch, the blue one that you have. These just buy you utility and access. For example, in the Web3 space, in the Web3 store, we have certain projects. We have one of the other companies that the studio has is this like web store. We sell like books and zines and t-shirts and stuff. And some of the projects are gated and only available to rocket holders. Like we have this unbelievably cool Dyneema Fanny Pack Pro that's only available in white and only available for patch holders or rocket holders.
That's amazing.
It's yet to be released, and there aren't that many of them. But now you know, so that's like only for, so that's only for our community. And as you know, I don't know how much you know about it, but we're like also one of the other things we do is we make sneakers and stuff, and that's why we're in Portland sometimes, and our sneakers are really sought after. So there'll be some utility very likely associated with some of the rockets, and I can't say which ones. Did I say too much? Okay. But I think that's what's really fun about this, and that's where this will clearly go way beyond the world of art, because what's cool about the NFT space and Web3 is that it's really about the art of money and commerce. And it doesn't shy away from that, and giving people different access based on their identity, like in Minority Report, where it's walking down the street and they know who he is, so they advertise to him. This is a wonderful opportunity to do this with transparency. So I think, who knows what it'll turn into? It might turn into a dystopic nightmare like Minority Report, but for now, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
And it's as hard as it is, it's doable. You know, this is all DIY stuff. This is the last time I felt like this was in the late 80s when I was involved in the American hardcore punk scene. And you'd make your own band and make your own record label and print your own records and go on tour with your own van. And you know, it's all about payphones. And out of that, you know, hardcore punk, a uniquely American spinoff of punk rock, was developed, and it lasted from the mid 80s until Kurt Cobain's death.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Henry Rollins?
Yeah. I mean, I remember he kicked me in the balls once when I was on stage or he was on stage and I was like rushing onto the stage in Troy, New York, and he like flailed and punched and like got me right in the nuts, and like I fell off the stage. That's how I met Henry Rollins.
That's a great Henry Rollins story.
Yeah, but I'm sure it happened to him every day. He's awesome. I mean, he's a huge hero. I love Henry, and I thought that he really brought Black Flag to the next level.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the number of Black Flag tattoos I've seen on people at shows, it's just like, what an iconic logo that is. It's just insane.
It's great. I mean, that whole time was, but like this time feels like that. You know, I've been an artist in Soho in New York City for 35 years, and I never was attached to an art movement, because what I'm explaining was like in high school. You know, I was like living with my parents then. And like, I have not been attached to an art movement even once, not even close. But now I feel like I've met my people through this space. And they're called nerds. And I consider myself one, and I'm proud, because I feel like a connection, and also the amount of generosity and sharing of knowledge and help. Like this project has been made possible by, you know, not just our devs, NFT studios, voxel architects who are geniuses. They're like the best in the space. Like, but all the people along the way that have like advised me and have helped me and have like helped me to, you know, people in Flamingo who have like just given me advice. I remember early on doing a flamingo podcast, and I was getting like the third degree, but it didn't feel like the third degree. It was like they were helping me refine and define my idea. And the questions they were asking me helped me to think about things I hadn't considered. And there continues to be a kindness and generosity, and that's and fairness. And I've heard all these stories of people getting hacked and people banding. We got hacked, and Turf NFT, our Discord, like we had to shut it down because it got hacked. So Turf NFT loaned our community their Discord channel so we could work together with our community to repair everything. Like a different
amazing
project. Incredible. It's like, it reminds me of like life on the water, boating. When everyone's on the boat, you help people out because you got to, because the consequences are death.
Yeah, it's so true.
We are on open seas.
It is the Wild West / open seas, all those things. It does have a sense of, we're in this together. It's early. Let's figure it out together kind of vibe, which I definitely love. Tell me, in terms of where this is going from here, like how can people get involved today? And then where do you see this? I hate things that are more than 6 months out because this world is changing so fast, but what's kind of like the way someone could jump in now? And then also, can you give us a little hint of the future?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing, if you have a rocket, assemble it now and select a launch date. And if you don't want to do that, at least claim your ticket to the mothership. That ticket will get you a Mars rock. And if you don't have a ticket, you don't get a Mars rock, you'll be able to buy them hopefully cheaper, because our project was too successful and it was too expensive, but we want people to be able to get in on getting the Mars rocks and which will get them access to the other worlds the information will be forthcoming. And then when those, we're calling that phase 3. And in a way, the Mars rocks really are a vehicle towards phase 3, where we'll be exploring other worlds. And I don't mean to be cagey, but the real reason is between now and when it mints, things change. So I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Well, plus it's part of the fun of the excitement of the unveiling, right? Like that's cool too.
Yeah. I think so. And it's also like, this is all moving very quickly. I mean, I'm an artist that moves fast when I build things in 3D, and it's no different here. But my main goal always is to over deliver, because that's just the most rewarding thing. And when I am involved in a consumer experience and I am met with over delivery, it's just so thrilling. It just feels like love, and there's nothing like giving. It's the best feeling, and making people happy. I mean, all the stories I've gotten about someone on the drop claimed a NASA part at the height of the market and used it to pay off their student loan. Mm-hmm. Another guy quit his job because he got enough money to start his own company. Four people do that. People thanking me and hugging me because it changed their life. I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. For me, the thing that I'm using this project for is to continue to learn, to educate and entertain myself. I so want to tell you about my ideas for phase 3 and phase 4 even. Phase 4 is what I'm really excited about, because it involves me getting to go back to school in a subject that I'm really interested in, that I kind of I put to the side when I got into art, but I was pretty interested in this other field of study. So I'm going to get to explore that, hopefully, if phase 4 works in the direction that I think it's very likely to. So I don't know. I mean, I think that the thing that really excites me about this is I feel like this project is bubble proof. And that's like, if this whole thing collapses, it doesn't change anything. We are still going to launch and deliver all of these rockets. And we're still doing everything in phase 2 and phase 3. And if it works, phase 4. That's just what makes it fun. And that's my whole job. Like most people, I'm one of the lucky few people that gets to do his retirement job his whole life, right? I make shaker furniture in the garage or sculpture or whatever. And that's like the greatest privilege. So I feel a sense of responsibility to bring that to the world and to teach about it. I think that's why we did this project called ISRU, in situ resource utilization, during the depths of COVID, where we did weekly art projects with people in the community. Like I would teach and people would participate. And I think a lot of this project comes out of that. And a lot of the people involved in this project we met during ISRU, which was an Instagram project. And I think these ideas are going to continue and find their tentacles into other aspects of the work. There's a thing right now that I'm working on the studio that's really not for the public because I got to develop it more, but I'm calling it the plywood metaverse, where I'm starting to make sculptures about all this stuff that's where there is no direct utility connected, but some of the lessons that I've learned from Mars mining Mars rocks, I'm starting to bring back into my sculpture and connect with ideas that I've been working for 30 years. So there's an organic interwovenness that is profoundly rewarding and unstoppable until I am stopped.
That's awesome.
Or until I'm no more.
Until you're no more. Yeah. So Sachs.rocketfactory.com is the place to go. There'll be links to OpenSea there if they want to go out and purchase one of these before it's too late. And any other things, URLs or anything we should mention, or is that pretty much the home for all of this?
Yeah. TomSachsRocketFactory.com is the best. Our Discord channel is good. All of our announcements are on Twitter, so that's maybe an easier place than Discord that's Twitter is at TS Rocket Factory. And I would, for you, just because having the Discord's, a Byzantine labyrinth, crypto Twitter like has all the basic stuff. You won't miss anything if you follow that. That's easier.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But the hard dates, you got to claim your ticket by May 6th. Got to do that. And I would encourage you to launch your rockets if you want to experience that part of it.
Well, I'm on it right now. I'll do it the second we get off this call. So done
cool,
deal.
Cool. Awesome.
Tom, you're an absolute legend. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this. It's it's going to be fun to watch this unfold over the next few years.
Cool. Oh, Kevin, one last thought. No pressure, but if you choose to donate one of your rockets to the museum, there's a little plaque and your name can be on it, or your
that's amazing,
or whatever you want on that. And so you'll be part of this. And I'm encouraging my friends and anyone really, if they want to be part of a larger piece in posterity, that's another. If you have multiple rockets, that's
I'll do it.
Fun thing.
One of them's going. Yeah. I'll probably do the Hello Kitty. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Atari one's more my jam. I like the Atari, so I think I'm going to keep that one for myself to have that back in my office here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, cool, man. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I hope we can continue the conversation. If you're in LA on the 7th, Aram, is that the launch is on the 7th? Come and join us, and maybe we'll see you in Portlandia.
Yeah, that sounds great. Or I'll come visit you in New York. Either way, it'd be fun.
Absolutely. I'd love to show you what's going on here in IRL.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.